Okay, so if you look at this, we had HBrO4, or no, HBrOAQ. That's hypobromous acid. Taking the hydrogen off, we get BrO minus 1, the hypobromide ion. In the next row, you had to go the other way. We had iodite, so that's IO2 minus 1. It comes from iodous acid. And again, we call it iodous. Again, putting the accent on a different syllable. It sounds different, right? HiO2AQ. Here we had the FO3 minus, that's the fluorate ion. 8 comes from fluoric acid, HFO3AQ. The perbromate ion is BrO4 minus, comes from perbromic acid, and it's HBrO4. And of course you'd put the AQ, I was kind of sloppy. Bromous acid is HBrO2 with that AQ. It gives us the bromite, BrO2 minus 1 ion. IO3 minus, that's iodate, and it comes from iodic acid, HiO3AQ. And HiO4AQ, it's not periodic acid, it's periodic acid, but it looks like periodic, right? Like the periodic table. IO4 minus, and it's periodate. So now we have gone through all the nomenclature rules, several different sets, and everybody was like, oh yeah, this is great. It's not great when you get to the end and you're trying to sort it all out. Now we're not ready for this yet, but if you look at the back of your chart, at the back of the chapter on page 5-32, you'll see this. Now mine's already filled in. Don't try and copy this down. We're going to use it later. But this gives you a list of formulas, and the first step is to figure out which set of rules do I use. And that's where this gets complicated. So as we're practicing today, start thinking about which set of rules do I use. And my students always are like, well, how do you remember? You remember from a ton of practice. Now, in your packet near the end, is there a funny looking flow chart? I thought I added it to the master. Do you have this? No? It should be like the second to last page if you've got it. I thought I added it to the master. Okay, I'll make some copies of this while you're working on your things tonight. So this is something that I developed quite a few years ago in response to a student that made me want to drink heavily because she was a pictorial learner and she was the first one I'd ever encountered. I didn't even know there was such a thing. So she always wanted a picture, and I'd go through what I thought was a great explanation, and the hand would go up, can you draw a picture of that? And I'm thinking, really? So I had finished this whole nomenclature, and the hand goes up, and I'm thinking, oh man, can you draw a picture of that? And I said, everybody put your pencil down, don't copy this down. So we tried it on the board, and this is what I came up with. This is what goes through my head when I'm trying to name something. And I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so let's just take an example of something and we'll see how this works. I'm going to write several different things on the board here. Okay, so if we look at what's on the board, the first thing on there is H3PO4AQ. So you look at the chart, and we start at the top where it says, look at the formula. So we start here, look at the formula. What's written first? Well, it's H3PO4. What's written first? H. Is it a metal? No, hydrogen is not a metal. Is it hydrogen? Yes. Is there an AQ subscript? Yes. Is there any oxygen in there with another nonmetal? Yes. Is there a halogen? Halogen's the fluorine family. Is phosphorus a halogen? No. Then it's an oxoacid. It's either something us acid or something ick. So H3PO4, it's phosphoric acid. C2H6. Look at the formula. What's first? Carbon. Is it a metal? No. Is it hydrogen? No. Are there only two types of atoms? Yes. Is it carbon and hydrogen? Yes. Then it's an alkane. Prefixes to tell how many carbons, ends in ane. Well, it's C2, ethane. Okay? This is like what runs through your head to think of this. HI, gas. What's first? Is it a metal? No. Is it hydrogen? Yes. Is there an AQ subscript? No. Are there only two types of atoms? Yes. Is it carbon and hydrogen? No. It's a binary compound of two nonmetals. Greek prefixes, ends in "ide." Isn't this slick? So I'm going to print this for you. So if you practice with this and go through this, then this is going to put that thought process in your head. And then you should be able